You're listening to the Laundromat Resource Podcast, the show by laundromat owners for laundromat owners, with your host, Jordan Berry.
All right, what's up, guys? This is Jordan from laundromatresource.com and the Laundromat Resource Podcast. This is show number 7, and I hope you're pumped here today because today, apparently, we're getting a little gangster. That intro was a little bit gangster for me, so turn your hat sideways, get excited, because today we have on an incredible guest. His name is Branden Unnerstall. He reached out to me on Instagram, and he's like, hey, I have a story to share. I have some stuff that I think will benefit some other people, and that was the understatement of the year, because Branden basically grew up in the laundromat industry since he was in diapers. He's not even close to 30 yet, and they're building their 10th store right now. And so this episode is packed with just wisdom and tips from Branden, and he just brings it. It's literally packed in there. You're gonna find so many valuable things. In fact, there's so much in there. I put links to everything. If you're on YouTube, it's down in the description. If you're on the podcast, it's in the show notes. You can find those at laundromatresource.com/show7. And this is with Branden Unnerstall. So get super excited about this, because he's literally not only bringing a ton of things that you can implement in your business, but he's just a good dude. And we had a ton of fun recording this episode, and I think you're gonna have a lot of fun listening to it. But before we get there, real quick, I wanted to highlight a question that came out in the forums this week from Anne Marie. And Anne Marie has the question of all questions. She says, how do I know if a laundromat is a good deal? And that is an outstanding question, because if you know that, then you're going to do well in this business. And I know a ton of you guys know the answer to this question. You have tips to share. You have wisdom to share. So do Anne Marie a favor. Go help her out. Go to laundromatresource.com/forums. Again, link in the descriptions and the show notes. laundromatresource.com/forums. Click on Anne Marie's question and just give her a little bit of wisdom. Help her out, because it won't only help her out, it'll help a ton of new people out. Everybody wants to know this when they're getting in the industry. How do I know if it's a good deal or not? Should I buy this laundromat or shouldn't I? And I know so many of you guys have wisdom to share there. So laundromatresource.com/forums, and help her out with that question. And I actually want to challenge you guys to do something this week, because I know that so many of us have wisdom and so many of us have questions, and me included. I know I have some stuff to share, but I also know I have some questions. And so I want to challenge everybody to this week, when this episode's over, go to laundromatresource.com/forums and ask one question and answer one question, because I do genuinely believe that we are all going to succeed more when we do this together, when we're contributing to each other, when we're interacting, when we're networking. Be a part of the community. So go to laundromatresource.com/forums, ask one question, answer one question. And I think that would be a lot of fun this week. I really want to come back next week and share some of the questions that you guys have asked, and maybe even some of the answers that you guys have given, because I'd just be super excited about that. So do that. Again, show notes for this episode, because there's so much packed in there, is laundromatresource.com/show7. So go check those out there. There's links to everything we talk about, all the resources that are brought up. There's links to all of those in there. And man, again, get excited about this episode, because it is incredible. And before we get into it, here's a quick message.
In today's world, if your laundromat is not online, you're losing business. Customers increasingly decide who to trust with their laundry by the quality of your web presence. But creating a professional logo and website that instills trust in potential customers and can be found on page 1 of Google can be difficult to create on your own and expensive to purchase through a traditional marketing company. As part of our mission to help laundromat owners succeed and find financial freedom through laundromat ownership, we are launching our done-for-you marketing service tailored specifically for laundromats. After ranking number 1 on Google with our own laundromat website and consulting with many others to help them do the same, we guarantee that we can build you a professional website that ranks on page 1 of Google within 6 months. Our joint expertise in the laundry industry and over 15 combined years in website design and online marketing allow us to offer affordable, transparent pricing for a high-quality web presence for your laundromats. You invest so much into providing your customers a quality laundry experience. Don't let anyone miss out on what you have to offer simply because they can't find you online. Let Laundromat Resource Marketing take care of your online presence so you can take care of your customers. Visit laundromatresource.com/getonline today for more information. That's laundromatresource.com/getonline or click on the link in the description.
All right, without further ado, let's get into it with Branden Unnerstall. Let's do it. All right, what's up, Branden? How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
I am doing awesome. Thanks for being on the podcast. I've been excited since you reached out to me on Instagram. I've been excited to have you on and hear your story. And, we talked a little bit before this, but, you just told me that you basically live and breathe your businesses. And I love that. So can't wait to hear about that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a little bit about your story here in a second. But before we do, can you give us a little context? Where are you at right now?
So I am on the edge of St. Louis. So we live on the Illinois side, but half of our laundromats are in Illinois and the other half are in Missouri. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to ask you a little bit later if there's any complications to being in two states or, different laws or different regulations, or if it's pretty similar. So, but before we get there, take us back, so I get asked all the time, when I tell people that I own laundromats, people are like, what? You own, where did that come from? And so where did that come from? How'd you get into laundromats?
So what happened was my father started the business in 1986. And so I basically grew up in a laundromat. It's all I know. So that's where we're at. He made me clean the laundromats before I would go to school in the morning. He had one that was unattended and I would have to go there every morning at like 5:30, go to school, make sure it's clean, and then go there after school and then come home. So it's all we know in the Unnerstall household is laundromats.
That is awesome. In fact, last night, my kids have been begging me to go help me clean. And so last night, we just, like 2 weeks ago, we had an employee had a family emergency. So I've been kind of filling in. Yeah. And so last night we went and my kids helped me kind of clean up, and they were wiping down carts and folding.
Got to teach them young.
So that's right.
I hated it when I was a child. And now I look back and I was like, I'm so thankful my dad did that. That was one of the best things he could have done for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, mine go back and forth. Sometimes they love it. Sometimes they hate it. So
I get that. I get that a lot.
Yeah. Cool. So you kind of grew up in the industry. So did you guys own one or multiple when you were growing up, or how did that work?
So I think he owned 5 of them when I was really young. I have 4 brothers and a sister. And then, so I guess he had to have a lot of laundromats to feed all of us kids. And then whenever I graduated, or when I was a senior, he built the 3rd one, or he sold some and then he built the 3rd one when I was a senior. And I took off way too many days of school and I helped with them. And so I learned a lot, and I just knew I didn't want to go to college. That's what I wanted to do. So
yeah, that's cool. And I would consider helping your dad with the business and learning about the business. I'd consider that school.
Yeah.
So
I was a private school kid, so they allowed you to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, if anybody had an issue with it, just send them to me and I'll vouch for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So you had a bunch growing up. So how did because you own some now, right? Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
we're all a family.
All kind of going together. Okay.
The joke is my mother always gets the money at the end of the day. So
yeah. So you guys are just slaving away for your mom.
Yeah, basically. She lives a good life.
I love that. So how did you get more involved? Did you go straight after school or what?
So basically what happened was there was a laundromat that came up for sale, one town across from us, and it was $40,000. And I bought it, and it was just disgusting. I mean, everything about it was your typical laundromat. I mean, no air condition, had a fan in it. Every machine was a top loader. Everything was broken. And so I bought it for $40,000, put some new machines in there. It did good, but it never did great because it was just such a small store. But one of the cool things about the store was it had a subsidized water bill because the city has a refinery there. So our water bill was like $80 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
it's like a laundromat dream.
Oh, it's heaven. It's still heaven to this day because it like runs itself. So, but yeah.
That's like what I pay for my house.
That was my first experience in the laundromat business. So I was like, they're all going to be like this cheap, you know? Yeah. So yeah, they're not all that cheap, sadly.
Yeah. So good experience on the one hand, and on the other hand, it kind of spoiled you a little bit.
Yeah, it got me pretty good there.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. So you kind of redid that one, and it did okay. And
yeah.
And okay. So now, like, what does your role look like now? So, with the laundromats, what are you doing? You say it's a family business. So what are you doing with the business?
So basically my father, I try to learn as much as from my father as I possibly can. He's the smartest guy I've ever met. So I'm very blessed to have him. But then he's kind of he's slowing down and stuff like that. He's older. So our goal right now.
Really, he's probably wising up and he's acting like he's slowing down because he's got a mule now.
The cool thing is we've learned so much for the last few years. Like, I mean, I don't know, when I was younger, he used to always have to go work on machines. I mean, in the laundromat business, you don't really have to do that anymore. I mean, they should maintain themselves. So, yeah. I mean, if you're doing things properly. So he doesn't really have to do much, but our goal is to build 2 stores every year. So that's my focal point, is to build 2 laundromats every year and just make sure that the best wash experience is the same throughout all the locations. So I usually try to go to each store once, maybe twice a week, just to make sure expectations are being met.
Everything's running well.
Yeah. But we're starting to pick up and delivery. So this week I've been training a young man to help me out and to take over that obligation, which is no easy task like I had imagined. So we're figuring out how to go.
Yeah, that's a big, honestly, I think that's a lot of where the laundromat industry is going right now. It's the pickup and delivery. And
I see the coin laundry side doing the same and probably increasing a little bit, but I also see a huge opportunity. So I said, I really like this kid. He actually cleaned a laundromat for me when he was in high school. So before he went to school, awesome. And so he went to college, and then he got a job working for UPS. And I, for some reason, when I thought about this, I was like, he would be perfect for that. And so I just sent him a text, and he was like, that sounds awesome, and let's start it. So we did.
Dude, so cool. Exciting. Yeah. When did that start? Like, when did you?
Monday.
Yeah. Oh, this last Monday.
Yeah, last Monday.
Less than a week ago.
Less than a week ago. So we've got 3 orders so far, and one of them's Papa John. So I was stoked for that.
Oh, dude.
I'm a fat kid at heart, and I love me some Papa John. So
that is awesome.
Yeah,
that is awesome. Well, well, that just means we're gonna have to have you back on down the line to hear how your pickup and delivery is.
Well, let's hope this video goes well, because I've never done stuff like this before.
Oh man, you're natural. I can already tell. It's awesome. So cool, man. So I'm gonna just jump ahead a little bit, but I got to know, how many laundromats do you have? We've
got 9. We're breaking ground on our 10th one. And it's going to be the first one from the ground up next month, I hope.
Wow.
Yeah. So wow. I'm stoked.
That's awesome. 9 laundromats. Is that tough to manage?
Not really. I probably should say yeah, but no, it's we've got really good people to help me out. So
that makes all the difference. Everybody who I've talked to who's got a bunch of stores, if they're rolling, it's because they have good people. Go ahead. I was just going to say, if they're struggling, it's because they don't have good people.
Have you ever read the book Good to Great?
Yes, I've read. Yes.
That's the best business book there is. But do you ever remember when they talked about getting the right people on the bus?
Mm-hmm.
I read that. I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. That's the stupidest thing ever. It makes so much sense now that I look back, and I was like, that guy's a genius.
Yeah. It maybe it doesn't make sense until you get the wrong one on the bus, and then you're like, oh. Right. Or until you get the right one on the bus too.
Have you ever had an attendant that you can say she was the wrong one or he was the wrong one on the bus?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It ruins the bus for everybody.
I had an attendant fight a customer one time, and I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
It was, not good. Get the right people on the bus and read Good to Great. I'll link
it'd be
that.
great.
I'm going to link that in the show notes in case you want to get it. Good to great. It's a good one.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 9 laundromats. You're breaking ground on your 10th. You guys are trying to buy 2 every single month or every single year.
Yeah. Don't do that to me. You give that to my dad and he'll be like, oh, Brandon could do it. I'm like,
have you read the 10X rule?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yes. We'll get on the bus, man. 2 a month. 2 a month. No, I'm just kidding. 2 a year sounds like plenty.
Yeah. Plenty for me right now.
That's pretty awesome though.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are rolling, and what kinds of things allow you to have that many laundromats?
One is I just think having great people around you.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is just having good relationships with everybody. Like we have a great plumber, we have a great electrician. You know, everybody knows what to do at this point, so they can just do it. They can work by themselves. I mean, I try to be on there as much as I can to help them with anything. But just having the people that can do it and think for themselves, I think is huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think that's key too, the think for themselves part, you know, because if you got somebody asking you every little thing, then it makes your work infinitely more difficult and stressful.
And I also can't mentally take that. Like if my phone rings over a certain amount of times a day, I just notice that I'm I'm not as happy of a person, and I don't like doing that. So yeah, that's just me.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of a little bit off script, but out of curiosity, and I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but out of curiosity, if there's somebody listening right now, maybe who owns like one laundromat and they're thinking about maybe expanding to having multiple locations, is there any advice you would give them, or any ways that they could do that in like a way that would be beneficial?
When you say, one is we like to own our real estate. I mean, everybody's not like that. Like if you look at the Williford brothers, they have thousands of laundromats, it seems like, and they do unbelievable. I mean, they're just incredible, and they have a different philosophy than I do, but I like to own the real estate that we build on just because. So that's one key thing for us, but we're also in the Midwest, so real estate's really cheap for us. Uh-huh. So to expand, I would just say, make sure your one store is doing great before you jump into another one. I
think that's good advice. I think that's really good advice. Well, good. Okay. So you have these 9 laundromats and you're looking to buy or to build, cause you're not really buying existing laundromats, or are you?
No. So like the last one we did was a Hardee's, and then the one before that was a bank. The other one before that was a 7-Eleven. So we'll go anywhere where we can see. Basically what I like to do is I like to see really ugly laundromats, and then I go in there with just the biggest smile in the world and then just build the best wash laundromat there. So I know that sounds terrible, but I really get joy out of that.
Yeah,
I hate the thought of a hot, dirty laundromat. That just drives me. It's 2020. That should not be the thought process of somebody when they walk into a laundromat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that is, I think that's how laundromats have been run for a really long time. Sure. And I, obviously I see that changing a lot, right now, where people are coming in and they're taking better care of their customers by taking better care of their stores and having the right equipment and having the right people on the bus. For sure. And I think that's the way it's moving. And, on the one hand, it's sad for those businesses that are going to lose business to a new laundromat coming in. But on the other hand, the customers deserve better. So
they do,
so I'm with you. I think that's an awesome, business model. Go find a community with a need for a nice, clean laundromat with working machines and go fill that need.
It's not that hard of a job. That's why I was like, this is really easy. If you give people what's common sense, they'll come to your business. So
yeah, I love that. So do you have any, aside from, you're starting to pick up a delivery service and you're trying to build 2 laundromats a year. Do you have any other kind of goals or aspirations kind of looking towards the future, or is that what you're focused on right now? And
so I've always said 50 laundromats is my goal. 50? 50. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I just love the process of things. So if I won the lottery tomorrow, which I don't even play the lottery, but if I did, I would still do the same thing. I just enjoy building laundromats. It's just fun for me. It's just what I've always done. So
yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's like my goal. And then just honoring God throughout the whole process.
Love that. I love that. And, I love the 50 laundromat number. I think it's an audacious goal, but I love it, and I think it's something that's totally doable, and it's just a big goal. It's something that'll stretch you, but it's achievable.
Yeah. I told my dad that when I graduated high school, and he thought I was an idiot, and now he knows it's achievable. And so he's like, now he just thinks I'm stupid for wanting 50 laundromats. So I went from an idiot to just stupid now. So
okay,
that's where we're at.
Making progress, baby stepping.
Moving on up.
Moving on up. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, cool. So that's a little bit of your story, and appreciate you sharing that with us and how you kind of got in. Right now, we have a little section we like to call Down to Business.
Ooh.
Let's get down to business. Over and out.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm thrilled right now.
Yeah. And that Down to Business, we want to hear a little bit of kind of the details about, your businesses a little bit. So start off by telling us, again, kind of so you said you're in 2 different states. Tell us where you're located, your laundromats are located. And maybe in this part, kind of tell us a little bit about if there are any differences between the 2 different states.
Yeah. So we have 3 of them that are unattended, and then we have 6 of them that are attended.
Okay.
And so that's what I like the attended model better. I mean, everybody has their different thing, but I just like the attended better because I feel like we can give people better service, not because we make less money off of it. It's just, I think we can provide a better service that way. So the laundromat's just cleaner. I don't have as many phone calls. I actually probably have more phone calls, but they're less things that, it's not like I'm gonna have to run to the store. So we have 4 on the Missouri side, and we have 5 on the Illinois side. Our newest one is going to be in the Missouri side. So we're going to have 5 and 5 now.
Awesome. Keeping it equal.
Yeah.
Are there any, do you have to run them any differently because they're in a different state, or are there any different regulations that you have to?
We have a few laundromats that are a rougher neighborhood. So you always got to run things differently that way.
Right.
But, for the most part, things are pretty well the same, just treat people with respect, pay your taxes, just general stuff like that is same.
Cool. All right. So you got 9 laundromats, and you are breaking ground on the 10th, and you said you like to buy them with real estate. So can you tell us a little bit about what real estate you have?
What do you mean by that? I'm sorry.
Do you have, do you have real estate with all of your laundromats, or?
So we have real estate on 8 of them. On this last one that we just did, we rented it.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, I didn't even want to do it because it was in a rental building. It was in a big strip center. It's right up the street from one of our other ones, one of our unattended ones. And the lady, she was just getting older. She didn't want to do it anymore. And I actually told her no. And then she called me back like 2 months later, and she's like, would you consider it for this amount? And I was like, I really don't want to have to pay a landlord. So I feel guilty about how good of a deal we got off of it because, things worked out for the best. So
yeah.
I think we all walked away happy.
Yeah. And it probably helped her out, and she, so nothing to feel guilty about there. That's
the thing that scares me. Is if you ever read Planet Laundry, where they'll do the store of the month or whatever, it's like these people are paying $8,000 a month for rent. And I just, I don't know.
I know.
I don't want to ever think like that. That just stresses me out, the thought process behind that.
Yeah.
We like to own for sure.
Doesn't sound super outrageous around here.
Oh my gosh. It is.
It is outrageous. Yeah, it is outrageous. It just,
that's a different world out there though. Do you guys even have a Dollar Tree, or do you have a dollar menu out there?
We do. There's less and less things on the dollar menus, and those things get smaller and smaller every year.
Yeah.
So we have them.
Good.
Yeah. All right. So I normally ask people how long you've been in the business, but you were in diapers pretty much. So
Basically.
can you tell us a little bit about like vent prices? I don't really know, like what do vent prices look like out your
Yeah.
way?
So that's another thing that separates our stores is, I guess I should have told you this. We have 5 stores that are free dry, and then we have 4 stores that are pay dry. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. So do you guys have free dry out there? Is that a thing?
Yeah, there's store probably, don't quote me on this percentage, but maybe like 35-40% are free dry, and then the rest are pay dry. But I'm curious about that. Tell me about how that works out. The numbers work out for those.
Yeah. So we usually do 20% utility costs is about average for us across the board.
Okay.
But it's just everybody likes free, you know. So
Totally.
you tell people free, and it's like a light bulb in their head. So, but our pay dry stores are $2 for a double loader. We don't do top loaders. We don't do top loaders. I just think that's something that totally people can get a top loader at home. Why would they come to a laundromat when they can do it at home? So that's just something that I think really differentiates us from everybody else. So $2 for a double loader, $3.50 for a triple. 60 pounders are $6. 100 pounders are $9.75. Pay dry store or free dry stores, $12.75 for a 100 pounder, $7.75 for a 60, $4.75 for a triple, and then $3.50 for a double. Okay. So you're working that cost in there, but people still feel like they're getting something.
Totally, man. It's marketing. It's smart marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. So do you see, just out of curiosity, do you see a major difference in kind of store performance based on free dry versus, is there a reason why all your stores aren't one or the other?
So there are attended stores are all pay dry, and opposite of that. So if a store has an employee in there, it's free dry. So that's just the way we look at it.
Yeah.
But no, they really all do the same across the board. I just think it's, especially like if you go into St. Louis, every laundromat's free dry. Even like the dealers have free dry laundromats. I mean, that's kind of a weird thing for a dealer to have a free dry laundromat, but it's just, if you're in downtown St. Louis, that's what you have. So
that's just kind of the normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I have one attended store and one unattended store, and I thought about very briefly early on, maybe I should go free dry with my unattended store.
How big is it?
It's small. It's an 1,800 square foot store.
Okay.
It's relatively small.
I think, and this could just be me, but whenever we go above 3,000 square feet, I always go free dry, just because it's going to have somebody in there, and it just means it's going to be busier. Totally. I don't know how much busier, but that's just what I've seen.
Yeah. So even just the neighborhood mine was in, it wouldn't have been a good idea if I would have done that.
I get what you mean.
So, yeah. Cool. So we talked about attended, unattended. Are you doing all your stores coin, or are you doing any card?
So we do. Oh, well, that's kind of a different story. We're doing spider wash. So
okay.
Yeah. So we do quarters, dollar coins. Do you do dollar coins?
Not yet.
I think that's a big opportunity. We absolutely love the dollar coins. So, and then we do spider wash. So they got basically every option, but again, the Wilford brothers, they started this new payment system. It looks pretty sweet. So I'm excited to check that out. So I'm supposed to go visit him soon to see that.
Awesome. Yeah. I was starting to talk to him about that. He sent me over a link.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to get him on the podcast, I think.
He is a salesman. I mean, people talk about their brands and stuff like that. I would buy anything off of Luke Williford just because he's Luke Williford. He's got the brand.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. And then if you had to guess, how many hours do you think you spend on working on your laundromats? Or maybe at your laundromats? Okay. So
I would say I probably spend 2 or 3 hours in each laundromat per week.
Okay.
That really varies. Right now we're retooling one of our stores that probably about 5 years old. So we're adding on and getting all new machines in there. So obviously I'm going to spend more hours in there.
Right.
But usually just 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. So even with your 10 laundromats, you're looking at a half-time job pretty much.
Oh yeah. No, it shouldn't be a full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but whenever I graduated high school, like I lived in that little laundromat that there was like, I look back at it, I was like, that laundromat did so good. And I knew everybody that walked through that door. Like I was training that kid that I told you was taking over the pickup and delivery. He's like, how do you know everybody that walks through the door? And like, I'm hugging people during the coronavirus. And like, I know I shouldn't be, but everybody in there is just like family to me.
Just like family. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the way we try to do things. So
that's one of the things I love about laundromats is they tend to be kind of a community gathering place.
For
and
sure.
So it's super easy to just, make friends and be family with the people who are there.
I also think if you go in there just with the mindset, oh, I'm just going to collect money, I'm not going to talk to people, like don't expect it to do great. Go in there with, be a positive for the community. That's always, I love people well and take care of them.
Yeah. I love that mindset. So I do a lot of coaching, or like consulting for people who are interested in buying laundromats. And so I talked to a lot of people, and I've talked a lot of people out of laundromats because of that very reason. It's people who just want to make a buck, and that's fine. Like, I think you can just make a buck with laundromats, but I think not only are you going to do better business wise, but it's going to be more fulfilling for you and better for the community if you're also able to just invest a little bit in the community, and get to know some people.
Say we ever got to the goal of 50 laundromats. And, we didn't help anybody out. What's the goal? What's the point of that? I mean, if you didn't help anybody, you didn't do anything. You didn't bring anybody along with you.
Totally.
It means nothing. So
I love that mindset. Okay. Speaking of which, my favorite segment of the podcast, I don't know if it's anybody else's favorite, but it's by far my favorite segment, is called the secret sauce.
The secret sauce. Ooh,
yeah.
I love food. So secret sauce, you're getting me hungry.
Awesome. Well, maybe you can answer this question and then tell us your actual favorite sauce.
Okay.
Food sauce after that.
Ooh.
Listen up. It's the secret sauce.
But here's the secret sauce is this. What's one thing that's working well in your business right now that other owners can kind of implement in their business to help them grow?
Without question, big machines. So our equipment makes, I thought my father was crazy because he came up with this, and I was like, I just thought he was totally naive whenever we built one. And then we work really close with Hips. I mean, they've done great for us. So when we were giving this list to our dealer, he was like, you guys sure about this? I was like, Dad, are you sure about this? But so we do very minimal small machines. So we'll do, like the last order that we did 6 doubles, we did 8 triples, we did 8 60-pounders, and then we did 6 100-pounders. So that's something that really separates us. And one of the reasons why is because we're free dry. So we have a lot of customers that will come in once every 2 weeks, or we're not always just looking for the people that don't have a washer and dryer. I'd say around 40% of our customers actually have a washer and dryer. They just want to get it all done at once. And I mean, that's where the customer base is for us. Is we're not trying to get that person that's going to come in with a top loader and spend $2. We're trying to get, I don't know if it was Good to Great that talked about the revenue per customer. Do you know, was that Good to Great?
I think it did. Yeah.
Okay. So we try to go for the Walgreens philosophy is we try to get the most out of each customer, and that doesn't mean they have to come once a week. We're trying to get the big loads. That's our focal point. So the revenue per customer, not how many people we can get to walk through the door. We want to serve everybody really well and serve fewer amounts. So we go for the big machines 100%.
Yeah, that is some nice secret sauce there.
Yeah.
And it's been working well for you, huh?
Oh my gosh. Everybody loves 100-pounders because why would I come to a laundromat where I'm going to use 10 top loaders? I'm going to have to take one out. I'm going to forget a top loader because everybody's going to forget a top loader. I mean,
yeah,
but that's just something I think's really worked well for us as big machines. And then also nobody else in St. Louis has 100-pounders. So that's an advertising thing for us.
Yeah. I can't think of any laundromats around me that have, there's some with 80-pounders, but I don't.
Those are trash.
Yeah. Garbage. Just throw them away.
Hey, come on.
Waste of money.
Yeah. We also don't do 40-pounders too. So that's something that I've just never done. I don't really have a reason why. It's just we've done 20, 30, 60s, and 100s.
Yeah, that's
So.
interesting because I would say actually in mine, so 60 is the biggest I have.
Mm-hmm.
And in both of my stores, the 40 pounders are the most popular ones, actually.
Well, what my father has said is he thinks the 40 pounders take away from the 60 pounders. Like people will stuff a 40 pounder, but like if they go from a 30 to a 60, and I don't know if that's logic like right, but I just trust my dad. So
that sounds, I would say that he's probably right about that.
We've got to get you some 100 pounders in there, though.
I know. I'm feeling very inadequate right now.
I'm telling you, man, you're gonna love it.
I don't even know if my one store even fit 100 pounder in there. Jeez, those are big old machines.
You said you got 60s.
Yeah, 60s are the biggest in both of mine.
What is your VIN price on those? I'm just curious. LA prices.
Well, I mean, they vary widely in LA. But mine are 550. I'm probably underpriced, but that's where
I thought you'd be like $8 or $9.
No, I mean, so everything's expensive here.
Yeah, that's
but there's also a lot of competition here.
Oh,
and so I'm even pushing. I'm the most expensive kind of around.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how other people are making money with their charges as well as they do.
We're always more expensive than everybody else, and I think our customers know that. But I always say you don't go to the cheapest dentist, do you? So there's a reason for that. I mean, you always see a lot of water. We have hot water. It's clean. It's just you get what you pay for at the end of the day. So I never worry about somebody being cheaper than us.
Yeah, especially right now. I mean, you're gonna pay for cleanliness right now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we have a store that's like right up the street from one of ours, and at that store, I think that store is actually a little different in bin price. It's $2.25 for a double loader, and they're $1.25 up the street. And I don't know how or why they do that. It makes no money. I mean, you can't make much money off of that.
No.
But we're so much busier than them. So I think you got to be fair with people, but I don't think it's the fight that people think it is to raise your price.
Yeah, I have a question for you that kind of goes along with your secret sauces. What would you say to an owner? I hear a lot of owners who are scared to get rid of their top loaders, because their customers like them. Yeah. Maybe it's their most used, machine. I think
it's gonna be pulling teeth at first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no sugarcoating that, but you can't argue with it. I mean, I always tell everybody it's like going from a flip phone to an iPhone. There's a difference. I mean, it's old generation versus new generation. You're always going to have that one old lady that if you take these out, I'm going to go up the street. And I hate to say this, but go up the street. It's not going to hurt me. I mean, it is going to hurt me, but like I said, we're focused on those big loads. So
yeah, that's good advice. Okay. So, I mean, we got to know, like, what's your favorite food sauce?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What if you had, this is just coming out right now and this is beautiful. What if you could only use one sauce on any food ever for the rest of your life?
So I have recently had Chick-fil-A for the first time. Okay. I read Truett Cathy's book and I was like, I've got to try this. I love this guy. I love what he stands for. And I had the Chick-fil-A sauce. I've always been a honey mustard kind of guy.
Okay.
I had the Chick-fil-A sauce. This stuff will change your life.
It's pretty good.
I mean, it's like Jesus. I mean, I swear he did something there.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you're going with Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay. I don't know. That's so tricky.
That's a hard question.
For the rest of my life, does that mean like when I eat sushi, like I can't have soy sauce? Would that be considered a sauce?
That's sauce, man. I don't know.
Dear Lord.
I mean, it's an unfair question. I'll give you that right now.
I didn't know you were going to push such hard questions on me when I came on this thing.
Well, here's the thing. I sent you a list of questions, but I kept the good ones off.
You did, man. You
pounce them on you.
That was genius.
No, thank you for sharing about the big machine. We haven't gotten that answer yet, but I think that, again, I think the industry's moving that way too. When I see new stores going in, I'm not seeing people put in top loaders or maybe one or two top loaders.
Yeah.
And then
also,
machines in.
Which machines are you going to work on? Are you going to work on 100 pound? Like you're going to spend the same amount of time working on a 100 pounder as you are a top loader. And which one are you going to work on more? I mean, I got some pretty fat fingers. I don't like working on top loaders.
Oh, you're going to spend more time working on those top loaders than 100-pounders for sure.
And you're going to have Nancy come in and overload it, put blankets in there. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have a heart attack watching you.
Yeah. Burning up belts and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the new machines are just the last. I mean, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, this section of the podcast we call Pro Tips.
Pro Tips.
And Pro Tips is this. What's one piece of advice you would give a new investor who wants to buy their first laundromat? Somebody looking to get in for the first time.
Do your homework. I mean, you got to be hungry. I mean, as Les Brown would say, you got to be hungry. So that's one of my guys I always listen to anytime like I need to work harder. I always listen to Les Brown. So, but yeah, just do your homework. I mean, it's a simple business, but you got to work at it. I mean, especially if you're going to be on your first one. Like the further I get, the more systems we have in place to protect things going wrong. Yeah. But I mean, you gotta be able to spend that time and effort into it. We had somebody that wanted to purchase one of our existing stores, and it wasn't that I don't know how to say this. I didn't want to sell him the laundromat because I knew that when I sold it to him, he wasn't gonna run it properly, and I have an obligation to those people that come into the store. And I don't know if that's a good I don't know if that's good or not, but I just know that that's the way I felt. I knew that he wasn't going to work hard at it. So,
yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I think, when I first got into the industry, I did research, but I didn't know what I didn't know, at the time. And so
it's going to get easier. It's just, you got to be willing to put in that sweat equity at first.
Yeah, I agree.
And people are going to just take advantage if you right and left. I mean,
yeah.
They still do, but
yeah. That's why I always encourage people. Hey, have somebody in your corner, when you're getting into the industry, just have somebody in your corner who knows the tricks of the trade.
I liked what you said. Have somebody besides a broker. I thought that was that's great advice. Everybody's like, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that was expensive advice. So take it.
Everybody that you're going to give money to, like even your dealers, be like, oh, of course, this is a great location. Give me my $200,000 now. Of course.
Totally.
Have somebody that's, I always try to talk to business people any chance I get, just, even if they're in a totally different business. I mean, they're going to have so much advice for me, and it's time to learn.
Yeah, man. I love that mindset. And in fact, that's a good segue, but I love the mindset of, that you have of just like continually growing. We've been talking about different books that you've read before we got on here. We're talking about different business books and stuff like that. So I think, I just love that mindset. So with that, do you have any resource that you would recommend to other people? Maybe a business book or any kind of resources that you'd recommend?
The Laundromat resource, of course.
Of course. Thank you. Yeah.
But the resource, I drink up anything in the laundromat business. So if there's anything out there, I've most likely seen it, or I've tried to search for it. So I just always try to do my homework. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's climbing the hill, even if you're at the top of it. So you got to do your homework. So
yeah. And Good to Great. You mentioned that.
Good to Great. Yeah. Truett Cathy's book, like I was just talking about, his just comes to mind first because, he started that from the ground up. He failed at it twice, and the third time was the charm for him. So
that's awesome. I haven't read that book. I'll have to pick that one up.
Really good book. It's one of the most powerful books I've read because everything was against him. Everything. So
yeah. Plus it changed your life because now you like Chick-fil-A sauce and you're going to live with it the rest of your life and no other sauce ever.
I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm going to do next time I get sushi because sushi is my favorite food. So
yeah, well, maybe it's an acquired taste. I don't know.
Maybe I could put some Chick-fil-A sauce on the sushi. I wonder how that would work out.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's going to be great.
When we bring you back on, when you get your 50th laundromat.
Okay. Well, hopefully I'll be coming out to Orange County pretty soon,
Oh, man. If you're coming out this way, you better let me know. We'll get together.
Oh, I definitely will. Yeah. We're going to get some chemistry together.
That's what I love to hear. And it's 85 right now, so.
Yeah, it's rainy and 67 here, so.
Yeah, that's like heart of the winter weather for us.
You live a hard life there.
Yeah, that's like as bad as it gets, so I don't envy you right now.
It's quite often here, but
Yeah.
St. Louis is home, so I can't ever imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah. I was telling you, I spent a bunch of summers out there, and I really like that area. It's a little muggy for me out there in the summers, but man, just running around, fishing all the time and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
I always like tease my parents or something like that. I'd be like, I'm going to build a laundromat down in Florida because I'm a big Florida Gator fan.
Yes.
Or like anytime we build a laundromat, they'll be like, that's weird that it's right next to like so-and-so's restaurant, because I'll be like, I just love to eat. So they'll be like, that's so weird that it's right next to whatever place I'm addicted to at that moment. So but that's just the way it is. So
I still have a goal to open a laundromat in Hawaii, just so it'd be a business expense to go out to Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? If it could just,
how many stores is your goal?
Man, that's a great question. I used to have big goals like you for a number of stores. And right now I don't have a number that I would say. I think one of my goals is I'd love to start, just partnering with some people and picking up some retail centers here and putting in laundromats or redoing laundromats.
For sure.
And do a little bit bigger deals than I've been doing. So that's kind of one of my goals, but I don't necessarily have a specific number right now. I should define that actually.
Throughout the process, I've been trying to ask myself why. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And I haven't really come up with why do I want 50 laundromats? I mean, I can make a living off of one, I can make a comfortable living, but for some reason, it's just what I guess I enjoy doing it, but I also feel like I'm supposed to. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I think that why question is a big one, because I don't know, have you read Start With Why?
No, I haven't. I've heard of it, but I've never read it.
That's a good one.
Start with why.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the title's a little bit self-evident, but it, it goes into a little bit more than that. And, but I think that is, that why question is kind of what drives us. Like if you want to get to 50 or even 100 or whatever, that why question, I think will get more and more important as you get further and further down that goal. Because you're right, you can live off of just one laundromat, pretty comfortably. So at some point you got to wonder why you're killing yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also fun.
I just got a new truck and it's been like 2 weeks old probably, and I've got like 2,100 miles on it. And it's like, why am I spending so much time in this dang van,
Yeah.
And I'm stoked to have a van, by the way. If you're in a laundromat, that's another one of my secret sauces. Get a van. It's awesome. Because you'll never get to a laundromat and be like, do you have any Pine Sol? Like, yeah, I've got Pine Sol. I've got everything in there.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So cool. Well, listen, Branden, it has been awesome having you on the podcast. One question is, if anybody has any questions for you or wants to hear a little bit more about you, do you have any way they can kind of get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can send me an email at bestwash11@gmail.com, or they can find me on Instagram at Mr. Unnerstall.
Awesome. And you can also find them if you go through the Laundromat Resource Instagram, you'll find them through people that we follow or that follow us too. So you can't find them. But I'll put the link to your Instagram and your email in the show notes. That way people can get a hold of you. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show and just sharing your story and your secret sauce and your pro tips, all of that. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm definitely hoping to have you back on just to hear about your pickup and delivery service. And, sometimes you need somebody to keep you accountable, make sure you're moving towards that goal. So we want to hear about that too.
That's huge right there. And I think you're doing a great job. I mean, I can't imagine anybody else better at this in the laundromat business than you. So
thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll catch you on the next time that you're on.
Sounds great.
Man, I told you that this episode was fun and that Branden was amazing and he was bringing a ton of great tips. He just brought stuff that nobody else has brought yet. And I hope he gets 50 laundromats because I really want to have him on here when he has 50 and figure out how in the world he got there and how in the world he's managing that many. But I hope you found value. Again, don't forget about that challenge that I brought up in the very beginning of the episode. Go to laundromatresource.com/forums and ask one question and answer one question sometime this week. And I just think that everybody's going to benefit from that. So I'll go do it too this week. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to answer probably a bunch of questions that come up. I'll be hanging out there. So come hang out with me and everybody else in the forums this week. Thank you guys for listening to the Laundromat Resource Podcast, show number 7. And again, you can find show notes, laundromatresource.com/show7, and we will catch you next week. Peace.